For Algebra Unit 6 Review Number 1, it says, number 1, the area of a rectangular coffee table is given by the trinomial x squared plus 2x minus 15. The table's length is x plus 5. What is the table's width? So if we had a rectangle, we know that the length is x plus 5. We need to figure out what the width is, right? And we know that the area, which is inside of this, is x squared plus 2x minus 15. So we need to factor this problem using x factor. So 1 times negative 15 is negative 15. And we are trying to get to the middle number 2. So we could use 1 and 15 or 3 and 5. And it looks like 3 and 5 could make 2. So this side has to match our signs as long as you do the small number first. So we need to make 3 negative. So 5 minus 3 is 2. 5 times negative 3 is negative 15. We know that x plus 5, and then x minus 3. So my width is x minus 3, which is letter A. In number 2, the area of the rectangle serving tray is 8x squared plus 14x minus 15. The width of the tray is 4x minus 3. What is the length of the tray? Okay, so let's do like a little bit of a smaller version of this diagram here. So we draw our rectangle, and we know that the width is 4x minus 3. We need the length, L. And we know that the area is this here. Okay? So I'm going to do x factor with bottoms up because that number is bigger than 1 right there in front of x squared. So 8 times negative 15 is 120, negative 120. And we're trying to get to 14. So I'm looking at this list of factors of 120 and figuring out, okay, which one could I subtract and get 14? Looks like 6 and 20. 20 minus 6. 20 minus 6 is 14. We see that the 20 here has to be the same sign as that 14. Okay, so we're going to say x minus 6 and x plus 20. And we are dividing by that first number, which is 8. All right, so now we know that 6/8 cannot divide evenly. If I took 6 divided by 8, I get a decimal. But I do know that 2 can divide into both of those numbers. So if I divide by 2, I get x minus 3/4. And here, I could divide by 4 and get x plus 5/2. So now, what number do I bring up? The bottom number. So if I bring up 4x minus 3, and here I bring up the bottom number, and I have 2x plus 5. So the length given to me was the width that was given to me was 4x minus 3. That's right there. And I have it here. So I'm looking for the length, which is 2x plus 5. So that would be B. In number 3, it says factor completely. So that word completely means find a GCF first. So what number goes into 3, 9, and 54? Well, it has to be 3. Okay? Now, I also see that I have an x in every term. So I take the lowest x out. So right now, my answer has to have a 3x on it. Okay? So the only one that has a 3x is letter D. Okay? Now that might not be the case in all your practices or your tests. So let's make sure we know how to solve it. So we take the 3x out, and we divide and subtract exponents. And then negative 54 divided by 3 is 18. And then 1 minus 1 is 0, so we don't write the x down. So right here, we would do x factor because that's got a 1 right there. So 1 times negative 18 is negative 18. We're trying to get to negative 3. 18 would be 1 and 18, 2 and 9, 3 and 6. So 3 and 6 can get to negative 3 if 6 is negative. Again, those have to match signs. Okay. So now I would have that 3x in my answer. And then if I factor this, writing in factored form, I would say x plus 3 and x minus 6. And as we can see, that matches up with letter D. Okay, last one on this page. It says, which of the following is equivalent to 9x plus 5y minus a negative 3x minus 8y? So in this problem, you have to make this a negative 1. Okay? This part stays the same. And this part, because it's negative 1, it's like you're distributing a negative. So we're going to change our signs to be a positive 3x and a positive 8y. So 9x can combine with 3x to make 12x. 5y plus 8y is 13y. So we're looking at letter C.